I never thought I'd have to face something like this, and I doubt anyone would. But here I am, telling you about a battle over land that ended with me selling 61 homes for millions after they were illegally built on my father's land. And no, this isn't some story about some greedy developer looking to make a quick buck. This is about something a lot more personal. This is about legacy, about family, and about how a homeowners association tried to take everything away from me, and nearly succeeded. It all started when I was sitting in my office one day, buried under paperwork, mergers, contracts, the usual grind. It had been a while since I'd sighted my father's land in Harmony Creek. I was across the country, busy handling the estate after his passing. It wasn't that I didn't care about the place. I just couldn't get there with everything else on my plate. But one morning, I got an email from the county assessor. Parcel 734B, Mason Land. The value had tripled. That caught my attention, sure, but I didn't think much of it. I assumed it was a zoning change, or maybe they finally paved the old road nearby. Whatever the reason, I figured I'd deal with it later. But then, something happened. A letter arrived at my office a few weeks later from the Harmony Creek Meadows Homeowners Association. The letter was polite, like a neighbor dropping by to remind you of your trash cans or lawn care responsibilities. It was signed by some guy named Reginald Thorne, who, frankly, I had never heard of before. It said that they were working on some enhancement projects near my land, and that I needed to fulfill my verge maintenance obligations. The hell? I had no idea what they were talking about. My father had bought 40 acres in the hills, where no one lived and no one ever bothered us. There were no neighbors, just oak trees and a quiet road the county forgot to maintain. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I set the letter aside and kept going with my day. A few more weeks passed, but then my wife, Sarah, came into the office one evening. She was going through our financial statements, prepping for tax season. She tapped her pen on the county tax statement and looked up at me. "Alex, the value on your father's land, this is a big jump. You sure everything's okay there? You haven't been out there in, what, 5 years?" It hit me like a cold bucket of water. 5 years. She was right. I hadn't been out there in years. I had meant to sit, but life got in the way. My father would have been disappointed. He taught me to take care of that land. But here I was, letting it sit untouched, letting everything slip. "I'll book a trip out there next month," I told Sarah, brushing off the guilt. The merger case was coming to a close, and I needed a break. A sit to Harmony Creek sounded like the perfect escape. When I finally drove out to the land, it was late spring. The air smelled like pine, fresh and damp. As I turned off the main highway onto Old Mill Road, I noticed something strange. New orange construction signs. Harmony Creek Meadows, Phase 3, Luxury Leave-Wying. I froze. That sounded like a lot of development, a whole lot more than what I remembered. I parked where the old rusted gate used to be, or where I thought it used to be. But that's when the shock set in. The gate was gone. The no trespassing sign my father put up, gone. In its place, a wide, freshly graded gravel entrance. As I walked up, the noise hit me a construction site. It didn't feel real. This couldn't be right. Maybe they were developing the land next to ours. But when I walked closer, I couldn't ignore what I saw. Dozens of homes, 61, to be exact. Some framed out, others with siding and windows. Paved roads, curbs, cul-de-sacs. This was no simple development. It was a full-on community. I kept walking, my mind racing, trying to make sense of it. But there was no sense to be made. This land was mine. I had the deed. I had the title. And someone, somehow, had decided they could just take it. My first call was to the HOA. A woman with a bored voice answered, "Harmony Creek Meadows. How can I help you?" I asked to speak to Reginald Thorne, the president. "He's in a meeting," she said. "Can I take a message?" I wasn't about to leave a message. I was about to get some answers. When I finally met Thorne, he was exactly what I expected. Middle-aged, arrogant, dressed in a golf shirt with the HOA's logo on it. The kind of guy who clearly thought he was untouchable. He greeted me with a smirk. "Mr. Mason, I understand you're confused about the Phase 3 development." "No confusion, Mr. Thorne," I said, my voice calm, though every muscle in my body was screaming. "You're building 61 houses on my land. This land belongs to me. My father bought it, and I've been paying the taxes for decades. You didn't even ask. You didn't get permits. You didn't do anything legally." Thorne chuckled, dismissing me. "That parcel? It was abandoned. Overgrown. We filed for abandonment, got it rezoned. We've improved the community. We've added value. I pulled out my deed and tax receipts, slamming them onto the table. This is my land. This deed is clear. And that forged document you're wavwaying around? It's a fake. Thorne's smile faltered for a second, but only for a second. He recovered quickly. This is our legal title. I don't know what you're accusing us of, but we followed all the proper procedures. That's when I knew. This wasn't just about a land grab. It was a crime. A fraudulent, systematic attempt to steal my father's legacy. And I was going to make them pay. I spent the next few weeks digging into every document, every permit, every piece of paper I could find. The quitclaim deed? Forged. The surveyor's report? A lie. The county records? Tampered with. Every step of the way, I uncovered more, and the more I uncovered, the more I saw how deep this went. Thorne and his people had planned this out, had stolen my land, and they thought they could get away with it. But they underestimated me. I had a plan. A quiet, meticulous plan. I wasn't going to rush in with a lawsuit and a lawyer. No, I was going to make sure every detail was locked down. I called in my forensic expert, Dr. Finch, who confirmed the forgery. I found George Ainsworth, a local surveyor who had worked with my father, to confirm the property boundaries. I found a private investigator, Marcus Thorne, who uncovered financial corruption tied to the HOA. The more I dug, the more I saw the rot at the core of this operation. It wasn't just land theft. It was a whole operation built on lies, corruption, and fraud. I didn't strike immediately. No, I let them think I was backing down. I let them sell more houses, sign more contracts. I wanted them to dig their hole deeper, make it impossible for them to back out. Then, when they were fully committed, when they thought they had won, that's when I hit them. It was a legal blitz. Quiet title actions filed against all 61 properties, a massive CIVYL lawsuit for fraud, trespass, and conspiracy, and criminal complaints to the DA. All at once, it came crashing down on them. Thorne thought he was untouchable, but he was about to learn just how wrong he was. The next few months were pure chaos for Thorne and the HOA. The homeowner duped into buying homes they thought they owned started fighting back. They filed lawsuits of their own. Banks froze their mortgages. The construction came to a halt. Thorne, once so confident, was now scrambling. He went from being the king of Harmony Creek Meadows to a man facing the full force of the law. And then, one by one, the pieces fell into place. Thorne was indicted on multiple felony charges, including forgery and conspiracy. His cronies? They turned on him, cooperating with the authorities in exchange for leniency. Thorne's empire built on lies, deceit, and greed collapsed, and he was left with nothing. As for me, well, I got my land back. I got justice. But it wasn't just about the land. It was about showing that no matter how powerful or untouchable they think they are, can get away with something like this. So here's the question I want you to think about. Well, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you have fought back? Or would you have let them win? I'm curious to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And if you believe in standing up for what's right, hit that like button and share this story with others who might need to hear it. This fight wasn't just about land, it was about justice, about family, and about the lengths we go to protect what we love.